Hi everyone, Ann here. Just to remind you that I'm working at the Recovery Center of Northern Virginia, a drug and alcohol treatment center. It's outpatient. And I work in the Leesburg office here in Virginia. So today I thought I'd talk about mandated reporting. And here in Virginia, it's a broad list of who is a mandated reporter, from health professionals, doctors, nurses, even interns, anyone who is in the helping profession is required to report, as well as anyone who is in the mental health profession, including, licensed professional counselors, any other therapists, mental health professionals, obviously anyone in social services, social workers, clearly. Mediators are actually required to report child abuse. And any person who's any private or public institution that takes care of kids, like a daycare, or say it's someone who has a daycare in their home, they're actually required to report child abuse as well. And in Virginia, we have what's called standard of knowledge. And that standard of knowledge is basically any reason to suspect child abuse or neglect. So if you reasonably suspect, then you are required to report, and that includes any findings by a physician, even at childbirth. Like if the mother's been on drugs, it's supposed to go to CPS, Child Protective Services, that this child was born addicted to, say, opioids, and within 48 hours that has to be made. And the definition to an applicable victim for under 18 for child abuse. And reports are made to Child Protective Services. And everything, they have to have what's called content of reports. And that's all the information based for suspicion of abuse or neglect. That's the who did it, where it happened, what happened, how many times that you know of, and any other documents. Now, reports must be made immediately or within 72 hours of reporting. If not, you do face criminal charges, misdemeanor charges, and high fines. What's also known in Virginia is the Tarasoff Law. And the Tarasoff Law is because back in, I believe it was 78, a psychiatrist knew of a situation where a person was threatened to, it's called duty to warn. So the person was threatening to kill somebody, and because of confidentiality, this psychiatrist wasn't sure what to do. He did call the police, but he thought it was okay, so he didn't warn the other person. Well, it turned out that person was killed by the client of the psychiatrist. So the parents of the client sued, and we now have, it's a federal law, it's called the Tarasoff Law, and that is the duty to warn. So if we have a client that says, I'm going to go kill somebody, and they have the means and the method and the plan to do it, we have to warn the other party as well as call the police. Now, if we don't do that, not only could we lose our license as social workers, but we could also face criminal charges ourselves. Now, we also have in Virginia mandatory reporting requirements for elderly abuse. And that is a little bit, it's not as broad of a definition of who has to report, but it's anyone who cares for an elderly person, any mental health provider, any emergency service responder, any EMS, any guardians or conservators. And they have to also report the reason they suspect the abuse, neglect, or exploitation of the elders that's being abused. And if they don't, they also face serious fines. So in Virginia, not everyone is a mandated reporter. You can go through a training to be a mandated reporter if you're just, an everyday citizen. But the law is very clear on there could be fines and consequences if you do not report immediately. So that's what I have. Look forward to hearing your comments. Okay.